Donna. Kate Mila Falter, welcome to Irish Granny Helen, and welcome to Nate, who just thinks he's so funny. So you're in the right place, Nate. Welcome.
Yeah, Nate from the Third Wish.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry. I know I should.
uh,
I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. Okay, well, something I wanted to talk about this week was an article I read about sharing food in a meal. You have a fairly meaty meal, and there's a discussion about psychology about sharing food. Some people are very sharing, some people are not sharing, some people like to have all food on the table and like a buffet. Some people are very territorial with their food, and the article says something about your personality.
So, how are you about it? Don't tell me what it means. Just how do you respond to sharing food?
Well, generally speaking, I am not keen on sharing food just because I am a picky eater. And so I kind of want food my way, and I can't. I mean, I'm allergic to fish and seafood. So
Right, right.
when it's a lot of sharing, it's difficult for me if there's people say, "Oh, let's get this, let's get this." And so it's been unfortunately my experience at some gatherings where there's a group of people, and then the people said, "Let's share." And I don't say, okay, well, no, I say, then say, what should we get? And then I say, well, I'm allergic to seafood. And, but I said, of course, if you want seafood, just have it. I'll get something else, a different dish. But then it bothers me because then they eat their seafood and they take from the dish that I selected. So I feel like this is not very, sometimes not very respectful. And I've seen the same thing sometimes at being at a gathering and a person is vegan. And so they would pick one or two vegan dishes. And then I've noticed people trying out the vegan dish, which is unfair for the person who that's the only thing they can eat.
So, I think you would be described as territorial about your food.
Well, that's the negative way. I think under the word territorial, it has a negative
Well, that was one of the
connotation.
descriptions, though. Yeah, yeah.
But I would say to me, it ties to kind of at a different way, but to social justice. And so, in a way,
Yeah,
because
sorry.
everyone should have enough food in their plate.
I agree. No, I agree. Okay, so you know when you see dogs eat,
Yes.
and anyone comes near their bowl and they start growling, that's me. I hate
Okay.
sharing
So
food.
you're territorial. Yeah.
Absolutely territorial. I want what I want. I want all of what I want. I don't want to share. If you like what I'm ordering, why don't you order it too? I don't like to
So I get
share.
that. I get that. Um, I'm okay. Usually, so the compromise for me in a restaurant would be let's all agree on a few appetizers that everyone likes, and we can share that. But the main, we're not sharing.
I agree. I don't consider anymore a large meal, with a lot of people. I don't consider the ordering of the food or the selection of the menu to be communal. If people want to do that, they can just go ahead. I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to eat that. You guys do whatever you want.
But if
And
it's like, sorry to interrupt, but
no,
like if you're in a group of 10 people and 9 people say let's share.
yeah, I don't. I have no shame in saying I don't want to share. I'm going to get my own. I don't care anymore. I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
you know me, I can't say that.
when you get old enough, you just wait. You get old enough, you
I
don't
can't
care
say
about the.
that.
You will. You
So
will.
I would say yes, but let's make sure that so I would defend This is just me. I would
Yeah.
defend the vegan person who doesn't have, and then I would realize, well, there might not be anything for me, but I didn't defend myself. But I helped the person next door who doesn't get enough. That's just typical.
Too many people in my family have specific dietary demands, and nobody has any kind of an illness. It's all, well, I'm a vegan of this sort and I only eat these things sourced from this place. And fine. You get what you want, I'll get what I want. I don't. And holidays the same thing. I would much rather make everything a buffet and bring what you can eat. And if you're afraid that there won't be enough of it, bring two things that you can eat. So I'll make two big dishes or three big dishes of stuff that I know I can have. And usually nobody else likes it anyway. It's funny how that works out. It's intentional. And so like my vegan children will say, well, don't put cheese in it because I'm vegan, or, and I'll say, well, I'm going to make what I like and you bring some vegan dishes and we'll all be happy. End of discussion. See, I should work for the UN.
Yeah, yeah. For me, this is about fairness and justice, and yes, sharing sounds like a nice thing, but everyone needs to have their fair. So, for example, what if they slice bread
Mm-hmm.
and put it in a basket? That's sharing.
True. Yeah. I don't eat bread, so you don't want to know.
But let's say you would eat bread, wouldn't you think you wouldn't go with that? Sharing bread?
No, that to me, that's kind of a different thing, like breadsticks and bread and appetizers. That's sort of a free for
Ah,
all. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So the main
The
meal
main
is more
dish.
your.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're in agreement. We're in agreement.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we are both territorial, whether you like it or not. We're
Yeah.
both territorial.
Well, I mean, you said territorial. I say social justice oriented. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Please. So I think it comes from your background. And I grew up in a large and poor family, and you got what you got. And
Yeah.
if you weren't quick, you might not get what little there may be extra. I mean, it's very Dickensian. It's like Oliver Twist. And as a result, my husband, he always tells me, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. And it's really true. I'll order stuff and then I can't finish it. But I am very threatened by not having enough. There's some kind of trauma in operation there. That's fine. I still get to eat what I want to eat as an
Yeah, no,
adult,
I get no, that was part of the article I read that people that have been through some sort of experience, whatever it is, where it was not enough,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then yes,
And I'll
absolutely.
take it a step further. I truly believe that it's past life too.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think people, not everybody, I'm generalizing here, but I do think for some of us, we carry in our DNA, if you want to look at it that way, spiritually, karma, if you want to look at it that way, doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. Um, Things that have happened to you in a past life, you carry them forward when they're not resolved.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, well, that was a cheery subject. Okay, I have one that's going to make you laugh. So there's a guy in Wisconsin. He's 50 years old. His name is Tim Frieda. I think that's how he pronounces it. And for 20 years now, he's been allowing himself, this is a nightmare. Why did I think this was funny? For 20 years now, he's allowed himself to be bitten over 200 times by venomous snakes.
Oh.
He's also gotten 700 shots of the venom, direct shots, like maybe they couldn't find a certain kind of snake, but they had the venom. And this has all been on purpose. He's not a snake handling religion. He did this because he was helping scientists to create a universal anti-venom. And so they've been studying his blood for over
Wow.
20 years. And they now think that they're close to having an injection that they can give anyone who's been bitten by any snake that originally was designed from his blood, that they've been able to isolate the anti venom in his blood and pass it to people to save people's lives. But I thought, oh my God, what do you think was his first conversation with himself, the first time he allowed himself to be bitten by a snake on
Oh.
purpose? What do you think the internal dialogue was there?
Well, did he know back then that it would be used for research?
I don't know. I got the impression this whole thing was intentional.
So then, like he's telling himself that this is for a good cause.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you think you'd volunteer?
no, I've been bitten before by a jellyfish, and that was not pleasant.
What kind of, like a Portuguese man o' war?
It was, where was this? I don't know where, I don't recall where this was, but it was a small jellyfish,
No, they're big.
and it was a sting. It was really painful.
Yeah. You can die from that. How sick did you get?
No, I just got a rash.
You can have a whole systemic.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
you
that.
can go into an anaphylactic reaction. I mean, you can die from a jellyfish sting. That's not to be treated lightly. I mean, if you don't know, it's wise to go have an emergency or a clinic check it out. Yeah, they're scary, very scary. It's not medical advice, by the way, YouTube. I'm just.
Yes, no, of course.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea, but I thought it was an interesting article. So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
do you have another one?
Oh no, I usually get one. That's as far as I
I have
can
two
get.
more.
Yeah.
I know, but I actively searched. So, in Ireland, this is a big controversy right now. Who would have thought? Actually, I could have predicted this. There's this game that men play called hurling. My father used to be a hurler. And so it's some weird game that they kind of look like they're playing soccer, but they kind of look like they're playing hockey. They're on
Oh.
grass. And I think it's a ball. I was a child when he did it, so I really didn't care. There was a ball. There's teams of men running around in shorts, and they have a stick, and the stick is shaped something like a little bit like a hockey stick in my memory, and it's all about whacking this thing and whatever. But there's a woman's version of it that was invented in like 1903 or something, when these women were going to the hurling games with their significant others and picked up the stick and started to fool around with it. And it eventually morphed into a woman's version of hurling called camogie. And it comes from the name of a short hurling stick. The hurling stick itself, there's a smaller version called a common in Gaelic, and camogie it means like little stick, basically, little hurling stick. So that's not what's interesting. That's the background. Traditionally, when they started playing this at the turn of the last century, so the 1910s, the 1920s, women's clothing in sports was more modest. So they wore longish divided skirts, culottes, like skirts, right? So now, today, they're still required to wear skirts. They're much shorter, but they're still skirts, turned into shorts. And they're cumbersome and uncomfortable, and they look stupid. And these young women are like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're talking, what are they, Gen Z? They're not about to be told what they're going to be wearing, right? So
No.
there's like a rebellion going on in this woman's sports in Ireland, and it's controversial. And there's modern people who are saying, oh, come on, is this really a conversation? Let them wear whatever they want to wear. Who cares? I'm not surprised. I probably come from the last generation in Ireland whose women were completely regulated. I'm surprised I didn't wear a burqa as a child. They
Oh
were
my God.
so strict about the expectations for women's clothing. Not so much my brothers, but my father would not let me own jeans. Like, no daughter of mine will wear pants because men wear pants, women wear skirts. It's all very gendered, right? And they have to be the right length and they have to be the right
Mm,
cut and they have to cover, I mean, utterly medieval,
yeah.
absolutely medieval. And that still lingers in a lot of cultures with the older people, I think,
Yes.
more. Yeah. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Big controversy in Ireland right now. The world's going up in flames, and we have got to regulate women's sports. Yeah, nuts. And then one more story, and I forgot to write down where this happened. It's somewhere in the United States on a freeway somewhere since yesterday. A big semi truck overturned and spilled, wait for it, $800,000 worth of dimes all
Oh
over the
my God.
countryside. They had people for hours and hours and hours with metal detectors, and I saw them actually moving chunks of dirt where the dimes had embedded themselves in the dirt, and there was too many of them to pick them out right now. Here, just take this big chunk of dirt. I want to go there with a metal
Where
detector.
did all those dimes come from?
I don't know. I was in a hurry and I didn't pursue it the way I should have, but they were moving all these and they looked new. They were very shiny. That might be
Wow,
something
new.
new.
Yeah, I feel like it makes more sense they were new.
I like maybe coming from a mint going somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe they were
yeah.
going to a casino. I don't know. But this $800,000 worth of dimes, you have to ask, how many pounds did that weigh?
A whole truck.
Gigantic, gigantic semi full of dimes.
Wow.
I know. I would have loved to have been there and been fast.
Yeah, but even fast, how do you get $5?
I know. Well, maybe you
Uh-uh.
have a broom in the back of your car. You just scoop it up. I think I always envy English farmers who are out there plowing their field. And this still happens on a pretty regular basis. And they'll hit something and they'll look down and it's a Viking horde. They'll find Viking gold or Roman gold.
Yeah.
When the Roman legions left England, Britannia, they some of them thought they would be back and they buried their riches. They couldn't take them with them because of the weight, gold coins, jewelry, cups, that kind of thing, swords. So they buried them. So there's a lot of old Roman stuff too. Yeah, it's nice to
Interesting.
fantasize about.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and oh, well, you live in an apartment. Darn. Well, maybe you'll find something in the walls.
You never know.
We found something in the walls when we were working on our house
Mm.
downstairs. We found, I think we found the belongings of my poltergeist.
Oh.
I have a poltergeist. It's a little boy, about 12 years old. And he does cute little childlike tricks, like moves things around. They appear and disappear. And this happens on such a regular basis that, I'm not that
You don't.
crazy. I may be
Yeah.
crazy, but I'm not that crazy. And we found a zippered school portfolio, leather, 8 by 11. And when you opened, it was full of school papers, homework, and comic books from World War II.
Oh, wow.
But they were really badly deteriorated. We had to throw them
Mm.
out. There was nothing really worth saving, but it was
Yes.
really interesting. Yeah. So you never know. Anyway, I think that's all I have.
Well, I think that's good. Probably we need to wrap up.
Yeah, we're in a
Yeah.
hurry. I can
Yep.
take a hint. Okay, everybody. I hope this cheered everybody up. I hope it, will hold you over until next week. Thank you so much. And I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate all the really kind comments. Thank you. So
Thank you for
wonderful.
having me. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank him too. Thank you. Bye.